don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes.
People on here
that's the
asking
way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks of all kinds. Welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 556th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and we are live. It is 9:08 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. An extremely difficult day for those in the law enforcement and first responders communities throughout, definitely here in Delaware County, city of Muncie, all the small towns, Ball State University PD, but all throughout East Central Indiana as a whole. And we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be discussing that a little bit. Before we jump into all of that, I'm going to put this preference right up here. This is a First Amendment purist program. We do not censor content, and you have viewers have a right to say what they want to say, and you have a right to be as big an asshole as you want to be. I would hope that people wouldn't do it. Like, there are times to joke about things, and then there are times not to, but you're free to do as you please and reap what you sow if that happens. So I just want to put that out there first and foremost. I had some comments on some posts I made earlier today that I thought was crazy, and I had a couple people reach out and say, you need to delete these. And the thing is, I get why people think that, but in my opinion, it's like, no, you want to let people see who these people are. You know, let them speak and let them be seen and let people know who they are. So that's how I feel about it. So, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I want to say that we're here. We are live on YouTube, live on X. We are live on Facebook for a period of time until they decide to take it off. If you are not watching on YouTube, you are messing up. You're missing out. Okay. So, Where was the last memorial for citizens that were murdered by cops? All the time, all the time, Jack. I mean, you're not that naive. They hold things like that all the time, and honestly, more than should be. We tend to get over involved with some of those instances. Some of them are called for, a lot of them are not. So, I don't think that there's any lacking of big drama that comes from an officer involved shooting or something like that. But this is not what this is. This was another situation, totally different. This was just a tragic accident. That's what I'm going off of right now. All right, because we don't have word that I've been seeing this all over today. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into what's going on here, because there are some that are not from this area and may not know. So this is very strange. As a former law enforcement officer myself, I try my very, very damnedest to not listen to the scanner unless somebody calls to my attention something that's happening. I don't sit around. There are people that just sit around and have the scanner apps on, and they just are listening to it 24 hours a day. As a former police officer, I don't do that. I've heard the radio enough. I've heard crazy crap. I've went to crazy crap, but I just don't. I'm out of that, and I don't need to listen to it. And I have plenty enough people that if something crazy goes on, they alert me. So last night, as you guys can see, a couple of you have talked. I did clean the pile of records that were piling up behind me, ever so big. In some cases, 4 and 5 totes worth of crap back there, records and all kinds of crap that we just covered up. We did cover that up last night, and I went to bed kind of early. And so I woke up this morning at about 3:30, 3:40, 3:35, 3:40. I woke up I had to pee. I'm kind of getting to that age that I don't make it all the way through the night without having to use the restroom. And so I woke up to go to the restroom, and I happened to see somebody post something online that there had been some kind of a traffic accident on the Interstate 69 in Muncie, Delaware County. And I said, I don't know why I felt compelled to flip the scanner on. I normally would not flip specifically for a traffic accident. And so someone had said that there was a traffic accident and nothing had been announced. There was nothing. It was just a quick little post that somebody put in like a Delaware County group that it had the accident, or something was going on. Interstate 69 northbound. So the northbound lanes just north of the 28 State Road 28 mile marker. And for whatever reason, I flipped the scanner on and was just sitting there. I was bored and was laying back down. I thought I'll just sit and listen to the scanner for a second. And in pretty quick order, I heard that they started dispatching like everybody and their brother was going to the call. And I heard that the Delaware County Chief Deputy, 18-2, Jeff Stanley, had called on the radio, and he was talking and was heading that way. I heard the sheriff was on the radio, 18-1, Tony Skinner. And then I heard that there were 2 Lifeline helicopters, medical helicopters that were flying en route. And then I'll be honest, I could tell that it was a bad situation because they were saying more things on the radio, just the regular radio, that they generally wouldn't say. They would go to a different frequency. They would go to car, to TAC, or something like that. And so I figured, okay, something's going on here, because this is a severe situation, and very, very serious. And so I started contacting some of my sources in law enforcement. Obviously I knew they were dealing with something serious. So I just quickly sent a message and said, hey, what are you dealing with? Just let me know when you have time. Take care of what you got to take care of. And then I heard on dispatch, somebody said, notify media to shut down the roads. And I wanted to verify. So I sent another message to somebody and said, hey, let me know what roads are shutting down. They said they were shutting down northbound I-69, which is on the west side of Delaware County. 69 is on the westernmost side of Delaware County. It runs north and south on the western side of the county, between, like, on the side of Delaware and Madison counties and into Grant County. And so in pretty quick order, I got word that it was a sheriff's deputy that had been assisting a motorist. A sheriff's deputy had got a call to assist a motorist, assist a broke down or stranded truck driver, semi driver that was off the roadway, kind of in the roadway. And anybody that's ever been pulled off, anybody that's ever been pulled over, anyone that's ever been in law enforcement, you don't just, as a police officer, pull in like off the road. You pull in, you pull in a way to where, if God forbid something happens as you're dealing with the driver, you're dealing with the people up in the car, that if someone hits you, that hopefully it would hit your vehicle and kind of push it out of the way and help save you and save the other occupants or whatever. And so I'm sure that he was pulled, how he would normally pull. And for whatever reason, we do not know. I'm seeing a lot of people saying they need to arrest this guy. They need to charge the driver. We don't know. Could the guy have been drunk? Sure. Could the guy have been high? Sure. Could he be illegal? Sure. There's lots of things that could be, but until we know, kind of like the Whitestown thing that we were talking about the other day, and we're going to talk about that at the end of this a little bit. We got some updates. We should not be just throwing things out. We don't want to add more chaos to it. Let's let the investigation play out. And if there was something illegal going on with the driver that caused the accident, that will be taken care of. And so that's that. So this morning, 4:00, they were doing the thing, and there was a little bit of confusion on whether the helicopters were going to come and land, or eventually they just decided to start, I guess, by ambulance, taking the deputy towards Ball Hospital, and they told the helicopter to land there, and there was some confusion about what was going on there. But I know that everybody on scene did everything that they could, life-saving measures, and did everything they possibly could. There were people from all over. That responded to this scene this morning, and in the hours that followed, seeing if they could do anything to help or whatever. And it's the first line of duty death that has occurred here in Delaware County in some time. I should know when the last one was, and I can't for the life of me. I have to think that there's something. I believe that there's been something since Greg Winters, which Greg Winters was the Muncie police officer who was shot while transporting Michael Lambert to the jail. That happened between 89 and 90. I'm almost positive we've had another line of duty death between then and now, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. So I got an email first thing this morning, pretty early on, from the chief deputy from the sheriff's department, Jeff Stanley, sent out to all media, and that press release basically read as follows. Stand by here. So the first press release that went out, that I put out this morning, said a Delaware County Sheriff's Office statement on fatal crash involving deputy. Prior to that, I had put out the notice that at just a little before 4 o'clock, Delaware County, Indiana, Interstate 69 northbound from State Road 28 has been shut down as of 3:45 a.m. due to an accident between a semi and a Delaware County Sheriff's deputy vehicle. Police, fire, emergency medical services are on scene. 2 medical helicopters have been dispatched. Stay tuned for more. And then this morning, not too much longer after that, the first statement from the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. Delaware County, Indiana, Delaware County Sheriff's Office is deeply saddened to confirm that one of our own deputies was killed this morning in a tragic crash on Interstate I-69 near the 247 mile marker. Preliminary information indicates the deputy was assisting a stranded motorist along the interstate when his patrol vehicle was struck by a northbound semi-truck. Despite immediate emergency response efforts, the deputy did not survive his injuries. The Indiana State Police is leading the investigation into the crash, as they would anytime there's another department involved like that. Anytime that it's a serious or fatal crash or accident, they have a crash team that investigates that. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation and the family's privacy, no further details are being released at this time. This is a heartbreaking loss for our law enforcement family and the entire Delaware County community. We are grateful for the outpouring of support and prayers from the public and thank the assisting agencies who responded to this tragic scene. All inquiries related to the crash investigation should be directed to the Indiana State Police. And then it wasn't much longer after that they put out the statement releasing the name and releasing what was going on. And that statement reads as follows. Delaware County Sheriff's Office mourns the loss of Corporal Blake Reynolds. And we're going to give me 1 second. We'll put this up on the screen here. Doop. I'll put this up here as I read this. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office is devastated to share the tragic loss of Corporal Blake Reynolds, who was killed early this morning while assisting a stranded motorist on Interstate I-69 near the 247 mile marker. Corporal Reynolds was a dedicated 4-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office. He was helping a broken down semi when his patrol vehicle was struck by a northbound semi truck. At the time of the collision, he was outside of his vehicle and was struck during the impact. Multiple agencies responded immediately and life-saving measures were attempted at the scene. Despite every effort, Corporal Reynolds succumbed to his injuries. Corporal Reynolds joined the Delaware County Sheriff's Office in 2022 and quickly distinguished himself through his hard work, professionalism, and leadership, earning a promotion to the rank of corporal. Before beginning his law enforcement career, he honorably served his country in the Army National Guard. Blake was known for his unwavering dedication to duty, his compassion for others, and his deep commitment to serving the people of Delaware County. In June of 2025, Blake married his wife, Allison, and was looking forward to building their future together. His passing is an immeasurable loss to his family, his brothers and sisters in uniform, and the entire community he served with pride. We ask the public to keep Corporal Reynolds' family, loved ones, and fellow first responders in their thoughts and prayers as we mourn this tremendous loss. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the many assisting agencies and emergency personnel for their quick response, compassion, and support during this heartbreaking time. And that, of course, was put forward by Jeff Stanley, the Chief Deputy of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. So we will go ahead at this moment and offer a moment of silence for Corporal Reynolds. Okay. So one of the things I have to say is I really have to commend the sheriff's office on the quickness with which they've got information out. Generally in something like this, I was amazed at how quickly the information was rolling out this morning. I feel like Jeff Stanley did a fantastic job. I'm getting mixed information. This corporal was either 30 or 32, somewhere in there. I mean, a young person. I mean, he'd obviously served in the military, and he's been on the sheriff's department for 4 years. So he was getting to the point where he, wasn't a newbie. He, I'm sure felt very comfortable doing his job. He knew what it meant. He knew what the danger was every time he put on the badge, every time he put on his uniform, every time he got into the patrol car, every time he got out. He knew what that was. But still young, still extremely young, and just absolutely tragic. And I know that this has to be just heartbreaking for his department, the leadership, and his fellow officers. I was in a business in Muncie today, and there was a Yorktown police officer. I'm not going to name him, but there was a Yorktown officer in there, and myself and a bunch of other people were talking about this incident. And the Yorktown officer was like, "Yeah, he was one of my good buddies. We were really close, and just it's tragic." I learned that I guess he had a fellow brother. His blood brother, also had the calling for law enforcement and went into like federal law enforcement. I'm not exactly sure which branch of the federal law enforcement he went into, but apparently, from what I heard from the Yorktown officer, his brother was graduating today from his academy graduation from whatever service he was going into. And so it's just, heartbreaking that they got this information on the day that this was happening. I do want to play just a little bit of the procession coming from WTHR. Ashton Hackman had put this forward, so we definitely want to give credit to him and thank him for putting this out. But I do want to play just a little bit of this for anyone that did not get a chance to see this earlier. And yes, Gavin did a fantastic. Gavin is the man. He always does a wonderful job. Gavin is on it, and he does a fantastic Fantastic job. Stand by just 1 second here, and let's. I'm gonna put this up here. I wish I could blow that up more. I don't know why I can't. Okay, here this is. This was after whatever they needed to do at the hospital. This was after that. They were transporting the deputy or Corporal Reynolds to Meek's mortuary, and this was the procession for that. Okay, so we'll go from there, and then let me pull up the next thing from Stanley. Give me just a second here. And of course, this has been all over social media and the the news all day today, but I'm sure there are still some that have not seen this, so I just want to be able to put this out. Give me 1 second here. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Here's this. That's the procession all down University from the hospital going, and then here's the the deputies and other officers outside Meek's. Let me see here where this is. That's not it. Okay, give me 1 second here. Well, oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Ashton. Well, apparently we're not going to get that. Okay, let me while I'm doing that, the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office also put out a statement, and that statement reads: if any of you did not read this, the statement was put out by Eric Hoffman, prosecuting attorney, Delaware County. Muncie, Indiana. Early this morning, I was heartbroken to learn of Corporal Blake Reynolds' tragic death. The entire prosecutor's office extends our condolences to Blake's family, friends, and all who have worked with him on the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. Long ago, it was written in the New Testament that blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. The Gospel of John 15:13 tells us that no greater love has a man than this, that he should lay down his life for his friends. Please keep Corporal Reynolds' family, loved ones, and all first responders in your thoughts and prayers as the Delaware County community begins to mourn this tremendous loss. The Indiana State Police is conducting this investigation into the facts and circumstances surrounding this devastating loss. Therefore, at this time, there will not be any further comment until the investigation is complete. And so that was that's that. Okay, let me see here. Now, the last bit of this that we're going to talk about here. Okay, here we go. Here's this. Share. Man, here we go. I think Stanley did a great job.
Young deputy. He's only been with the department now. Blake was a young deputy. He's only been with the department now for going on 4 years. Just a great guy. He's moving up the ranks fast. He's promoted to corporal just within the last year. He's doing a fantastic job. He just got married this past June, and him and his wife are getting ready to start a family and, try to make life of their own.
Sounds like he had a lot of leadership. I mean, if he was able to move up that quickly, he had some good leadership qualities. I mean, him as an officer, how was he on the job? Was he a standout guy?
Absolutely. He was a true leader. He's a member of the Indiana National Guard. So he got leadership skills through the military, and that carried over through the sheriff's office, and his leadership definitely showed.
Does it surprise you that he was out helping somebody middle of the night?
No, not at all. Not at all. He was doing his job. Called out to the interstate to assist a motorist, and unfortunately, for whatever reasons, his vehicle was struck, and kind of a chain reaction, which Blake got caught up in it.
What can you tell us about the procession this morning? You were just saying that it got you all choked up. The community coming together so quickly to honor his memory.
That's the good thing about law enforcement and just emergency services in general. We all come together. We all are a big family. EMS and fire, the police, all different agencies throughout the county. I mean, every agency in the county, I believe, was there this morning, along with other departments. Grant County was there. But to do the procession, from the hospital to the mortuary here, and to see the community standing out like they did was just amazing. Going through the university and seeing the students and seeing construction workers actually stop what they're doing and line the streets. It was just amazing to see.
How are you feeling right now?
It's hard. It's hard when you lose one of your own, especially when you oversee a department, and our department's young. And Blake was a young kid, and he had a big future. It's hard shoes to fill.
What have you told your other deputies to get, they're all struggling right now?
Sure. The hardest thing are the deputies that were actually working with him on shift last night. And, one deputy in particular is the one that actually found him, when he wouldn't answer the radio. So, we're racing out to make sure that he's okay and how we found him. But, for the next couple of days, there'll be some grieving time. There'll be some grieving periods, and we'll come together. There's counselors that we'll talk to, and they'll come and talk to the department, and we'll make sure that everybody's doing okay.
His young wife and family too, obviously they're going to be grieving alongside
Sure.
you guys. Is it good to have a close-knit group that you're able to help support family in times like this?
Absolutely. That's another good thing with the department. We know who your families are. We know who your wives are. We know who your kids are. We interact off duty. And so it's just to have that network. Our chaplain program for the department is just amazing. I made a phone call to one of our chaplains this morning, at 3:30 in the morning, and he's instantly there. And he'll help.
Are you able to tell us if there's some people that were out here asking, is he from this area? Is this home for him?
I believe so. I believe he is from this area, yes.
This is a tragic reminder of just how important it is to have that slow down, move over law.
Sure.
What is your message to drivers and people on the road after a devastating incident like this?
Well, there may have been some factors in this crash that we're unaware of yet. Indiana State Police, we've asked them to take over the crash investigation, so they'll do everything they can to seek the answers of to what happened. I feel this may have been an incident to where we may have had a driver potentially fall asleep. We just don't know. That's pure speculation, but it's a possibility. So, it was 3:30 in the morning. There was hardly anybody on the roads. It was just a very unfortunate situation.
Chief, I know it's early. Police body just got here, but obviously the community has a lot of support for you guys. Is there any word on when we can expect public services, anything like that yet?
We're still going through those details. I expect they may be as early next week. There's some logistics that we've got to get around, working with the family and working with the Indiana Sheriff's Association and the Fraternal Order of Police. They'll all be involved, and they're all going to be of assistance, which we greatly appreciate. But we look for it to be in the next probably 4 or 5 days.
What can we as a community do for the sheriff's office?
Pray. The community can pray for the family, for the Reynolds family. It's devastating to them, and it's devastating to the deputies that work with him, and people don't understand that we're with each other. We're with our department and the people we work with more than we are our own family sometimes, and
Yep.
we have to become family. So we just ask the community just to pray for the Reynolds family and pray for the department.
So that's that. I will say, anybody that's never attended a funeral for an officer, if you haven't, if you can attend this, I don't know when this is. I'm not sure when that'll be. I'm sure they'll make that a big announcement, and it'll be a public event. I would highly recommend attending if you can. I'm sure it will be live streamed. We'll cover the live stream if that's the case. You should attend if you can. Pay your respects and do that. It's definitely a moving event, and it is definitely something that. It's something you don't want to have to be at. You don't want to have to see or watch, but it's definitely a solemn event, an honorable event, a beautifully sad and tragic event. But it's definitely something to behold if you're in that situation. Unfortunately, too often we find ourselves in this situation. It's just been such a long time since something like this, law enforcement wise, has happened. Now we've had some situations with firemen around East Central Indiana here in the last little bit, and EMS personnel, but it's been a while since it's been a police officer. So here in Delaware County, obviously, not too long ago, we had the thing. I think Catherine's been talking about it up in Elwood with Chenevez, Noah Chenevez. That was just a handful of years ago. So, and that was a very similar situation. Just heartbreaking because it was a young officer just starting out. The difference there was that was actually a criminal situation. He had tried to make a traffic stop, and the gentleman got out and shot at him, and that was just an absolute tragic situation as well. But for very different reasons. Everybody's asking who caused the wreck, who created the accident, and what happened there. The only thing that we are aware of currently at this point is that Corporal Reynolds was called to an assist motorist, and the motorist that he was assisting was a somehow broke down or stranded semi driver. And that while he was out assisting that driver, another semi driver hit him. Now, I've heard some say, I think I heard it from the state police, maybe, that they said that I think that he was just speaking. I don't know that they knew this, but someone said that the second semi lost control. I don't know if they know something to say that specifically, or if they were just talking, very much like Chief Deputy Stanley there said, this might be a thing where he fell asleep. Any number of things could have caused this accident. He could have fallen asleep. He could have had a medical situation. He could have, been distracted. Obviously, he could have been texting, or he could have been looking down. Any number of things. Obviously, it could be a criminal reason. He could have been drunk or high, or any number of things. People are asking if this person was American, if they were legal or illegal. I don't know any of that. Right now, I don't know that any of that matters. We will know that. We will know it in quick time. I will tell you that he was injured. What I have not heard, if anybody knows about the condition of the driver of the first broke down semi, that's the one thing that I haven't seen much about. I know that the driver that caused the accident was injured, and that he was actually flown to Methodist, and this afternoon was apparently still in surgery. And so he was apparently badly hurt himself. A lot of times you'll hear that the person that, and I think this, you'll also hear otherwise, but you'll hear a lot of times that the person that causes the accident, specifically if they're in a semi, they a lot of times walk away with no injuries. Apparently this guy got hurt badly. So I don't know what his injuries were. They will deal with that however long he needs to be in the hospital and recuperate. If there is something illegal here, they will go through the process and he will be taken care of. 100%. Just what happens. But like Catherine said, hope for all involved that this was just a freak accident. I mean, it doesn't make anything better. It might make it worse. I don't know. But thoughts and prayers with the Reynolds family, his young wife, his mother and father, brother, other siblings, extended family. Like Chief Stanley said, the Delaware County Sheriff's Department right now is a young department. There's a lot of young guys, and that makes for a very tight-knit group. They really bond and get close, and so I know they're going to be hurting. I know that it's going to affect other officers from other departments. So our thoughts and prayers go out to all of them, everybody affected by this, the people in the community. That's the one thing that I've seen, that literally everybody that's talked about this young man has stated that, he stopped and helped and he talked to me, and, people that obviously friends are going to say that. Obviously friends are going to say like, oh, this is the best person. But there are total strangers that are coming out of the woodwork and saying like, this guy helped me, or, I really appreciate that he did this for me, or he did that, or he stopped and talked to me when nobody else would, or he stood there and prayed with me, various different things that people are saying, which really just make this nothing, it's just things that make this all the worse, and there are no words. So as soon as we know when there are arrangements, we will let everyone know. As soon as there's an update in this case, we will let people know. And this is something that we normally don't talk about. We don't cover things like this, but this type of thing, I mean, we wouldn't normally talk about an accident. This is not police blotter, but this is definitely a community interest piece, and something I was definitely going to talk about. So my thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, and all of us here at the Political Spotlight. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends and loved ones, and we will continue to keep you updated with more. I guess I should say as it comes. Okay, moving on. We were not here last night, and I didn't have planned to talk about this. I obviously didn't know that this was going to happen. I didn't, this was just something that happened. So I had planned to talk about something much different. We've got to do some shifting, and we'll shift that around. But besides this situation with this deputy, this just unfortunate situation, we do have I do have an update on a story that we actually covered whenever we were here last. Tonight's Wednesday, we weren't here. So Monday night, we covered the situation from Whitestown, the shooting down there, where another at this point horrible tragedy. We still don't quite have an understanding of what exactly happened. The prosecutor's office still has not released their findings. Still waiting for that to happen. I am now, I have been for a couple days in the line with the Boone County Sheriff's Department, the Whitestown Metropolitan Police Department, and the Boone County Prosecutor's Office. So if and when press release is issued, when statements are issued about this case, I will know about them as soon as they come out. I'm aware of the attorney in the case that's been hired for the homeowners on Maisie Lane, the people that were inside the house. That's obviously my good friend Guy Relford, Second Amendment attorney, and so I know him, and so we will definitely have the information as it's released. Today they released Fox 59 released about 2.5 minutes of police traffic from the incident. And I'm going to play this for you now and let you hear this. And so probably what I'm going to do is we're going to go through it. I'm going to play the whole thing. We'll listen to it, and then we'll go back through it and play it, and I'm going to stop it. I'm going to break some stuff down and talk to you about a couple things. We're going to play this. So stand by 1 second. I'm going to put this up here, and I will answer that question here in a second because it's important as well. Well, I contacted them about this. I have some information from the Boone County Sheriff's Department about the 911 tape. So I'll explain that here in a second. Stand by. Okay. Whoop. There we go. Okay, here we go.
He is telling me that it appears to be two Hispanic males trying to break in. That's all he could see. I'm sure
Stand
on
by. Hold on.
It says 4283 Maze Lane 428.
We'll do it from here. Here's the start. It starts here.
Whitestown, it says 4283 Maze Lane 4283 Maze Lane. I have a male on the phone saying, please send the police now. There's somebody breaking in. Whitestown, he is telling me that it appears to be two Hispanic males trying to break in. That's all he could see. I'm sure on weapons.
943 1023. Dispatch 510 start next.
943 510. Can you advise?
Dispatch, we got one shot. Yes, where's the homeowner?
He's still on TX with dispatch for seeing where the gun is and having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom. Hey, firm, we've got dispatch on the line with him. They're attempting to get him out now. Whitestown, unit information. The suspect is scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you guys to take him into custody at the back door.
Have him walk out the back door into his backyard.
Clear 7704, Medic 272, ladder 271, 7704. Lawson's asking you to stay in the area. There was a male shot. The subject is not in custody or detained at this time.
I am. I can still hear him crying by the front door. He's not moved. Dispatch, if you're on the phone with him still, tell him to come to the back door with his hands up outside, please.
I'm trying to get him to come to the back door. He is continuously talking about the person laying on the front porch and the officers having their guns pointed. He does not want to come out the back door.
Dispatch, where is he at in the house?
He's upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft.
Yeah, the male with a gunshot wound behind the white van. He got a gunshot wound to the head. Is it possible to get a spotlight on the top windows here?
If you have an officer free to drag this victim behind this house across the street, we can intercept at behind the house across the street.
Law enforcement on scene, Maze. Ladder 231 is asking if you guys get the subject behind the house across the street so they can help.
I don't think that's possible right now.
I've got the male walking out.
No, Megan. You listen. You've got to stop putting your thoughts into. You've got to just listen to it for what it is, and don't. The police officer clearly says the man that's crying was behind the door. You can't attribute. And if you heard there, the police officer even stated that the victim shot was the police officer even called that person a male. You have to understand, we all now have the freedom and the goodwill and the ability to Monday morning quarterback this and say, well, it was not a male. It was a female, and she's definitely the victim because she speaks Spanish, and we know everything going on, and it was a dirty white guy inside that did this, and he loved it because he hates Mexicans. No. When your heart rate is going 115 beats a minute because you feel like someone's breaking in your door and you're looking out during dusk and all of this stuff's going on, perception is a bitch, and you've really got to pay attention to that. And people out there that aren't part of the scene that sees things are horrible eyewitnesses. Now, add to that, you're being the one that's quote unquote being victimized and your stress levels through the roof. You don't know what. So for this person to say that he thinks that he sees two Hispanic males, well, he was half right because one of them was. So maybe he saw the husband and only saw the body of the woman, but didn't see, because she had a coat on or she had a hood up or her she's been over. So I don't think anything's nefarious. I don't think that's nefarious, him saying, I don't think he's lying. I think when he's talking to dispatch, he's saying, I see 2 Hispanic males, and I think that's what's going on there. So we it is, and let it be, and then get the other puzzle pieces when they come out and plug them into what we know, and hope that we then have enough to where we can see the picture on the box. We got a few more seconds of this.
On the stairs, he and his wife are going to be walking out the back door here in just a second.
Clear. I'm on the back side of the house. Someone come over here with me if they're coming out.
He is going to have his cell phone in his hand when he walks outside.
Hey, tell him to drop that. Don't have anything in his hands.
Don't have anything.
He and his wife should be coming out the back door here in just a second. 600 on dispatch 2.
But why are people believing that this could have been racially motivated? The reason that people believe that this could be racially motivated is because the homeowner is a white person, the victim is a Hispanic, and it's 2025. That's the only reason why this is being racially motivated. No one knows enough to know that. No one knows enough to know that. The name's out there. Find out if this guy belonged to a bunch of hate groups or he was posting, derogatory stuff. His name's out there. It's out there. People can find it. I've not found anything that's connected this guy to a hate group. So, no, unfortunately, Jack, the police weren't involved in this one. This was a civilian on civilian thing. So, no police narrative there.
So just coming out of the back door. 526 requesting 2 additional.
Dispatch, we have 2 detained.
Person on scene, Mays information. Medics are advising patient is 10-0. Whitestown yet.
Okay, so we did this. If people are breaking into your house, I'm going to say people are breaking in, not Hispanics, unless, Megan, you see them and you believe one of them is to be Hispanics. So the problem here is we're not hearing. First thing, let's break this call down, okay? This is we're getting 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We're getting 2 minutes and 35 seconds of dispatch traffic. There's a whole nother 5 or 7 minutes of the whole craziness that is left out of this. There's also no audio from the caller to dispatch. All we hear is dispatch talking to the police talking to dispatch. So the very first thing that happened when I found this, okay, I don't know that you're making an observation. I think you're making a preconceived bias. I think you are putting your preconceived bias in this. And you're trying to take it where you want it to go rather than saying what's happening here. Because what you have to do is you have to look at this for what it is. First of all, you can't make any assumptions based off this because we don't have a full picture here. So when I heard this, the first thing I thought was, oh, interesting. Where did this let me explain to you why I'm on you behind, because you make a lot of assumptions. You want me to be real honest with you? You want to talk some real talk here for a moment? You're in a world where as a younger person, you make a bunch of assumptions and put a lot of shit on it, and that's your preconceived notion. And then say a lot of things that can be harmful to the situation. And if you're somebody that wants to do what you're doing, you should. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to help you out. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not being mean to you. I'm trying to help you. And maybe I'm not sugarcoating it, but that's not, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. That's not what this is. I'm talking to you like I would talk to anybody else that would make a post calling this murder. We don't know that this is murder. So first and foremost, we have not heard the entire 911 call. So for anybody to listen to all 2 minutes and 35 seconds and say, I know what happened, that can't be done. Okay? So far, the only people that know what happened is totally in this are the police and the prosecutor, because the victim only knows what the victim saw, and the people inside the house only know what they saw. Only the police talk to both sides and put all of the evidence together know both sides of that if they're getting the full truth of it. But I can even point out here where there are some serious issues, and it should be enough to make somebody go, I wonder what's going on. Okay, so let's take this back and let's listen to it. So first of all, remember, the very first thing I did when I saw this, I thought, wait a minute, this isn't everything. Why? If somebody has this, they've cut it down, why don't you just release the entirety of the call? The fact... Okay, see that, and that's why I got a problem with you, because you got your feelings hurt and you're going to run away. This is not a place for you. If you, that's go, you're right. Go play, and we'll do a grown-up shit here. All right. No, I am attacking her intelligence. I am doing that. I am doing that. If someone is willing to throw the words out there and is not willing to listen and understand where their preconceived notions come in, that's not an intelligent thought. So let's go through this, okay? Let's listen.
It says 4283 Mays Lane, 4283 Mays Lane. I have a male on the phone saying, please send the police now. There's somebody breaking.
Okay, so the very first thing, the dispatcher says, units, Whitestown units, respond to the address at Mays Lane. I have a subject on the phone that says that there are, let's go back and listen. To get it all right.
On the phone saying, please send the
police now. This is what the dispatcher is saying.
Please now, there's somebody breaking in.
There's somebody breaking in. Okay, so that's what he told the dispatch. Hey, please, someone's breaking in my house. Someone's breaking in my house. The dispatch, and please understand, I know this because I am a former police officer. I have been a patrol officer. I have been an investigator officer. I've investigated felonies of all kinds. I have been a sex crimes investigator and a narcotics investigator and an investigator in the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I'm not armchair quarterbacking this. I'm not just somebody flipping through Facebook. I'm talking with some experience here. Okay? So when the caller is telling dispatch, please hurry, someone's breaking into my house, the very first thing dispatch is going to say is, do you know who it is? Who's breaking into your house? Do you have a description? And they're going to try and tell this person if they can look safely to see if they can give a description. So this person's all amped up. I guarantee you he's speaking, if it's a male speaking on the phone, I believe it is, from what we're hearing here, he's probably speaking a mile a minute, and he's probably looking, and he's probably hurrying, and he whatever he saw made him believe that it was two Hispanic males. Okay. So then you've also got to understand that then dispatch has to reiterate what he's saying to police. Generally in this area, I don't know, but this is my assumption. They have a 911 call taker who's talking to the person and typing this in. then that goes to the dispatcher. The 911 call taker is not the same person dispatching this to the police. You have a call taker and a dispatcher. So you've got one human listening and talking to the person and typing in, and then you've got the person B who's reading this and reiterating it to the police. So first and foremost, there are a couple that's the game of telephone. The homeowner tells the operator information. The operator types it into the computer. Could that operator have typed in an error? We don't know. We'll have to see. Could the dispatcher have read something as an error? Could she have put her own spin on it? That stuff happens. Okay, so that's what first and foremost. There is someone breaking in. That's the first thing we hear. Okay, we'll move on here.
Right, Tanya, he is telling me that it appears to be 2 Hispanic males.
He's telling me that it appears to be 2 Hispanic males. Okay, there was a little bit of delay in there. First of all, we don't know how long the delay was there because this has been edited. So could that have been a minute? Could it have been 30 seconds? We don't know. But I guarantee you the call taker asked him to try and identify the people breaking in. So that's when he says it appears to be 2 Hispanic males. Okay. And Kate, if there's anything popping up, I'm specifically not reading anything to not get thrown off. If there's anything interesting, star it, and we'll get done when I get done with this. Appears to be 2 Hispanic males. Okay, so now that's there.
I was trying to break in. That's all he could see. Unsure on.
That's all he could see. Unsure on weapons. So he's not seeing anything in their hands. Whatever. Okay.
543, 1020.
Okay. The police unit, his unit number is 543. So he gets on and says 543. That's him identifying himself. He says 1023. That means he is on scene. That's police talk, police radio code for I'm arriving. So he says 543, I'm arriving. Now, when police officers say that, they're not saying it right when they walk up to the scene. He's saying it as he's getting to the neighborhood. And he tells them, I'm here, and he could still be driving for just a minute before he gets there, like a couple seconds. We don't know. They normally like to try to do that so they could be watching and making sure that they've got situational observation and that they're aware, that they're not rolling up and getting shot, okay? So he says that he's on scene.
510, start medics.
He then, so then 510 is another officer. He says dispatch 510. So he's calling dispatch. That would me saying like Kate, Bilbrey. So he says dispatch 510, start medics.
943, 510.
And then dispatch says 510, can you advise?
Dispatch, we got 1 shot.
And then he says dispatch, we've got 1 shot.
Yes, where's the homeowner?
Okay, another officer on scene apparently says, guys, where's the homeowner? Now, we never heard him arrive. Maybe he didn't notify them that he arrived because it's a hot scene. We don't know, but he says, guys, where's the homeowner? He could be talking to the officers. He could be talking to the dispatchers. We go on.
He's still on TX with this.
Dispatch says he's still on TX with dispatch. Now, it gets really important here. Listen.
For seeing where the gun is and having him.
Dispatch is seeing where the gun is and having him. Now, listen to what they say here. This is really important. So when dispatch is doing this, and whether the caller says, I have my gun out, or the caller says, hey, I've already shot somebody, the dispatch, when police get on the scene, dispatch will tell them to unload the gun or put the gun down, hide the gun, lock the gun away, and come, because they don't want them coming out to the police with a gun and then getting shot. Now, what's interesting here at this point, we didn't hear the gunshot. We didn't hear all that, so they've cut that out. I've got a real problem with this. I've got a really problem with this. Max Lewis is a great journalist. I have a real problem if he has this and he has edited it. I've got a real problem with that. They need to put out the entirety of what's happening, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute. So we're going to back this up and listen to what goes on here.
Dispatch, we got 1 shot.
Dispatch, we've got 1 shot.
Yes, where's the homeowner?
Guys, where's the homeowner?
He's still on TX with dispatch for
He's still on TX with dispatch. Now listen here. We're
seeing where the gun is and having him
seeing where the gun is and having him
come down. He's upstairs in the
having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom. Ding, 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 ding. Doesn't that seem strange? He's upstairs in the bedroom. So how did the caller, he, just shoot somebody downstairs at the door? Okay. Could he have been upstairs, ran down, shot, and ran back upstairs? Absolutely. We'll have to find that out. I don't know. We'll have to find that out. But listen, that's very interesting that dispatch at this moment is saying that he's upstairs in the bedroom. That's very interesting. But continue on listening here, okay?
He's still on TX with dispatch for seeing where the gun is and having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom.
Now, he knows where the gun is, but dispatch is trying to locate and make sure that he's putting it away. But they're having him come down. He's still upstairs. He's upstairs in the bedroom.
Hey, firm, we've got dispatch on the line.
Now, I don't know who this is that says, affirm, we've got dispatch on the line with him. Maybe this is medics.
They're attempting to get him out now.
Or police. They're attempting to get him out now. They're reiterating more information. Okay.
Whitestown units information. The suspect.
Whitestown units information. The subject is scared. Listen what it says.
Bedroom. Hey, firm, we've got dispatch on the line with him. They're attempting to get him out now. Whitestown units information. The suspect is scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you.
He's scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you guys to take him into custody.
Right, to take him into custody at the back.
At the back. So we're missing another part of the conversation here where dispatch has told him the officers are going to take you into custody. You need to not have anything in your hands. Come out with your hands up. They'll take you into custody. It doesn't mean you're under arrest. They're just going to do that to clear the house and make sure everything's okay and just be calm. So they're telling them this is what they're trained to do. And so through their conversation, the guy's like, I don't see officers. I don't want to go out the front door. Have them take me into custody at the back. The homeowner has said this. All right. So listen.
Door.
Have him walk out the back door into his backyard.
Have him walk out the back door into the backyard. The officer says that very clear.
Clear 7704, Medic 272, letter 2.
Okay, and so she says clear. Now she starts reading off a bunch of crap to fire and to medics. That's what all this stuff is. Medic, ladder, and these are unit numbers.
271, 7704.
Law enforcement is asking you to stage.
Law enforcement asking you to stage in the area.
Stage in the area, which is very common. When there's an active hot scene with a possible shooter, this is going to be heartbreaking to a lot of people. In an active shooter situation, whether it be someone with a gun at a mall or a movie or at a school or this, if someone breaks into your house and they got a gun or you got a gun and a gunshot's fired and someone's sitting there bleeding, paramedics don't roll up into that piece until the cops have everybody handcuffed and they know what's going on. So people are sitting there bleeding out. And that's sad, but it's true because you can't send paramedics into that scene while the shit's hot and get them all shot because then what's that going to do? So they're having them go to the area, but they stage in the area. Okay. Keep on rolling. All right, let's go.
There was a male shot. The subject is not in custody.
Okay. So listen to that. Let's talk about that wrong information. Dispatch just told EMS that there was a male shot. Okay. There was a male shot. So now dispatch is giving out this information. Karen, don't custody just means you can be detained. It just means you're being handcuffed. So when the scene is hot and they don't know who's who and somebody's shooting, they don't know who's who. So if they got a person down on the ground It's really not. It's really not. They're going to take them into custody. They're not free to go at the moment. They're going to handcuff them. And in a few moments, once they realize what's happening, they realize who people are, then they'll uncuff the people that don't need to be handcuffed. It's just common police talk for what happens. You're not arrested. You're detained for the moment.
You're detained at this time.
Okay. So there's law enforcement's asking paramedics to stage in the area.
Yeah, there was a male shot.
There was a male shot. Now, police are already there, so they don't know what's happening. I mean, we still believe dispatch and everybody else still believes there's two males. One of the males is shot.
Subject is not in custody.
Subject is not in custody. Subject is the homeowner because he is the shooter. And until they know that the scene is secure, they're taking it that the person with the gun could be a bad guy, and they're going to make sure that nobody else gets shot. At these scenes, the most important thing is making sure that no more crazy shit happens. That's the primary thing.
You're detained at this time.
I am. I can still hear him crying by the.
Now listen, I can still hear him crying by the front door. That's not the husband. He's talking about the man behind the door. He can hear him crying. Now, that's strange because we got dispatch who says the caller's on the phone upstairs. The police officer can hear the guy crying, someone crying by the door. Okay. That's interesting. Cop did not say shot heard. He didn't say, the cop was not there when they heard a shot. We'll go back and play it all again at the end. I'm just breaking every line down real quick.
You're detained at this time.
I am. I can still hear him crying by the front door. He's not moved. Dispatch, if you're on the phone with him still, tell him to come to the back door with his hands up outside, please.
I'm trying to get him to come to the back door. He is continuously talking about the person laying on the front porch and the officers having their guns pointed. He does not want to come out the back door.
Dispatch, where is he at in the house?
All right. Okay, this is going to be a big thing. This is going to be a really big thing here. Dispatch has said at least once the guy's upstairs. We know that a shot came through the door. We know that a police officer is on the porch. The victim is still bleeding on the porch. And police officers are on the porch. They're on the front and the backyard. And one officer is saying, I can still hear him. They're saying him crying by the front door. Now, listen to what dispatch says here. An officer said, where is he? If you're on the phone with him, tell him to come out the back. She said, he's still afraid. He sees you guys with your guns drawn. And they said, where is he at in the house? Listen to what dispatch says.
He's upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft.
He is upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft. No. Listen, no. Megan, when the police officers are in front, when the police officers are on the porch with the shot victim and the husband is with the police officer. The husband is not behind the door. The officer, the shot victim, and the husband are all on the porch. The man behind the door is inside the house. If the officer was inside the house, the man behind the door could very well be her husband. But since the officer is outside on the porch with the victim and with the husband, Maria's husband is not the man behind the door. And you cannot believe me all that you want, and it might take years, but I promise when this dispatch all comes out, I will absolutely be vindicated. I promise you, I swear to you. I'm not lying to you. I wouldn't be misleading you. The officer's on the porch. The victim's on the porch. The husband's on the porch. None of those people are behind the door. The homeowner's behind the door. Somebody is behind the door crying. And this person is now, because there's multiple people in the house. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay.
Yeah, the male with a gunshot wound behind the white van.
Now, listen to that. They've literally They've literally, yes, you're aware that there's more than one person in the house, right? You're aware that, Megan, you sent me a video of this. You're not where I got this video. You're aware that this video has been floating around on social media, right? You're not the only person that communicates with me. I've communicated with 700 people today. I've been in meetings. I've talked to attorneys today. I have busy days. I don't just sit around waiting for one person to contact me. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Listen, this far into the scene, and the police officer who literally drugged the victim, dragging a female victim, thinks that it's still a male. So do you think it's possible that this man thought it was a male? The police on scene dealing with the woman thinks it's still a male. Listen again.
The house.
He's upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft.
Yeah, the male with a gunshot wound behind the white van.
The male with the gunshot wound behind the white van. What?
You got a gunshot wound to the head. Is it possible to get a spotlight on the top windows here?
Is it possible? Is it possible to get a spotlight on the top windows here? So it must still be dark enough outside at 6:58 at this point, 6:59, that the officers are trying to spotlight with their side floodlight the up windows, because somebody is saying they're up on the phone upstairs.
If you have an officer free to drag this victim behind this house across the street, we can intercept.
Now they're going to drag the victim yet again from behind. So it was on the porch, drugged to the van. Now an officer is going to drag the victim behind another house so medics can go ahead and pick them up and get them going, because they must have been seeing time is not on our side.
That's behind the house across the street.
Law enforcement on scene, Mays, ladder 231 is asking if you guys get the subject behind the house across the street so they can help.
If you can get the suspect behind the house, we can help.
I don't think that's possible right now.
I don't think that's possible
I've got the male walking down the stairs. He and his wife are going to
I've got the male walking down the stairs. He and his wife
be walking out the back
are going to be
door
walking
here
out
in
the
just a
back
second.
door here in just a second.
So I'm on the back side of the house. Someone come over here with me if they're coming out.
He is going to have his cell phone in his hand when he walks outside.
Hey,
No.
tell him to drop that. Don't have anything in his hands.
Yeah, don't have anything.
He and his wife should be coming out the back door here in just a second. 600 on dispatch 2. So just coming out the back door. 526 requesting 2 additional.
Dispatch for 2 detained.
They've detained,
Person on
they've
scene,
detained
Mays,
people now.
information.
Okay.
Medics are advising patient is 10-0.
Medics are advising patient is 10-0, which means deceased. Okay. So that's the call. Still, I got a real big problem that there's a lot of this missing. So I sent a request to the Boone County Sheriff's Department today, who operate the 911 call center. And I said, hey, this is floating around out there. I would like to get a copy. What I specifically requested was a copy of the initial call from the initial call time until they were taken into custody, all audio, all dispatch traffic from dispatch to the police, paramedics, fire, from the time the call came in until 8 a.m., and all traffic between officers, paramedics, and back and forth from the time they arrived on scene until 8 a.m. And the Boone County Sheriff's Department denied my request initially, straight up denied. saying that this was an active investigation. I then sent a message back stating Fox 59 has been playing bits and pieces of this, and it is it's been edited, and that's very harmful. So did you give this to them, or did they get this elsewhere? And the Boone County Sheriff's Department stated that they did not give that to them, so they must have got that someplace else. So what I'm thinking here, and it's a good possibility that whoever was at their news desk in their newsroom was listening to this, and when it popped off, they might have missed the first call or two, or first couple things, but they started recording it themselves. And if they did that, anybody can record dispatch traffic. If they did that, that's fine, but they've still edited it, and that's a problem. So I was thinking that maybe dispatch had given them an edited down tape, which I was going to have a problem with. But if the media has edited this, I still have a problem, and I wonder why it would be edited. So, and it's very possible that they got it from Broadcastify. I have a premium account to there and have access to the archives. I tell you, I don't know. I don't know if they normally. If Boone County normally pulls things down. I will tell you, I have never seen another police department to ever pull something off Broadcastify when there's something going on. I've just never seen that happen before. So if that happened down there for whatever reason, if that's something that goes on, or if they contact them and they do that, that would be very strange. I don't know. So I now have a message in to the reporter asking Max Lewis. I know Max, and I'm trying to find out, like, yo, what's the deal? What's going on with this? And if he has it, I'm going to ask him. I mean, that's normally kind of a faux pas. Like, that doesn't really happen. But, I mean, like, we can credit them. I'll credit them. I don't give a shit. I want to hear the full thing. And, if because there's sometimes I make decisions to not release information. That's fine, whatever. I'm not saying I have to release it, or we would even release it at the moment. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to release an edited. I'm going to release the whole thing or nothing. Basically, I'm not going to release, because here's what you do when you edit it. You make it seem really bizarre. You make it seem really strange. So just really quickly, I'm going to play it. It's 2 minutes. We're going to play it all the way through, and I'm not going to talk. Now, with everything that I gave you with the breakdown, listen to it and just make sense and try to find out. You tell me, I'll shut up and I'll put my thoughts aside. And if you tell me who the person behind the door is. Do we think the person behind the door is the homeowner, or do we think the person behind the door is the husband with the police officer and the victim? Which one do you think it is? Here we go.
Whitestown, yes. Server 4283 Maze Lane, 4283 Maze Lane. I have a male on the phone saying, please send the police now. There's somebody breaking in. Whitestown unit. He is telling me that it appears to be two Hispanic males trying to break in. That's all he could see, unsure on weapons.
943, 1023. Dispatch 510, start next.
943, 510, can you advise?
Dispatch, we got one shot. Yes, where's the homeowner?
He's still on TX with dispatch for seeing where the gun is and having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom. Hey, firm, we've got dispatch on the line with him. They're attempting to get him out now. Whitestown unit information. The suspect is scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you guys to take him into custody at the back door.
Have him walk out the back door into his backyard.
Clear 7704, Medic 272, Ladder 271, 7704. Lawful asking you to stay in the area. There was a male shot. The subject is not in custody or detained at this time.
I am. I can still hear him crying by the front door. He's not moved. Dispatch, if you're on the phone with him still, tell him to come to the back door.
I'm pausing this. They don't give a shit if the husband of the victim moves. They're not trying to get the husband of the victim to go anywhere. They're trying to get the man to go out the back door. He keeps saying, I'm upstairs. The officer says, I can still hear him crying by the front door, or behind the door. He's not moved. Does that make it, does it make it seem more realistic that he's talking about the man inside the house? Yeah, right. They don't know who. They don't think it's a husband or wife. They think there are two men there.
I'm
I am. I can still hear him crying by the front door. He's not moved. Dispatch, if you're on the phone with him still, tell him to come to the back door with his hands up outside, please.
I'm trying to get him to come to the back door. He is continuously talking about the person laying on the front porch and the officers having their guns pointed. He does not want to come out the back door.
Dispatch, where is he at in the house?
He's upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft.
Yeah, the male with a gunshot wound behind the white van. You got a gunshot wound to the head. Is it possible to get a spotlight on the top windows here?
If you have an officer free to drag this victim behind this house across the street, we can intercept at behind the house across the street.
Law enforcement on scene, Maze. Ladder 231 is asking if you guys get the subject behind the house across the street so they can help.
Yeah, this is after the shooting. This is all after the shooting.
I don't think that's possible right now.
I've got the male walking down the stairs. He and his wife are going to be walking out the back door here in just a second.
Clear, I'm on the back side of the house. Someone come over here with me if they're coming out.
He is going to have his cell phone in his hand when he walks outside.
That's
Hey, tell him to drop
nonsense.
that. They don't have anything
Tell
in his
him
hand.
to drop. That's so
He
nonsense.
and his wife should be coming out the back door here in just a second. Big 100 on dispatch 2. Subject coming out the back door. 526 requesting 2 additional.
Dispatch, we have 2 detained.
Person on scene, Maze information. Medics are advising patient is 10-0.
All right, that's that. The age of the homeowner, we don't know that it's the shooter, the collective intellectual. We don't know. The age of the male homeowner is 62 years old. I can tell you that. I don't know. That's all I can tell you. I have not identified the name of the homeowner is floating around out there. It's not difficult to find. I'm not releasing it. They have still not released it. No. The collective intellectual. So the person that was shot and fell on the porch and was there with the police, and fell in her husband's arms. And the husband was like taking care of her. The police arrive, and then while the police are doing their stuff, they get them eventually out by the van, out of the way, but still not in the area where medics can get to them. So they're not going to drag the wife and leave the man up on the porch. He's going to be with the wife. So they get the victim out, which they still think is a male. They get that person out by the van, and then paramedics later say, can someone drag them behind the house? And the cops say, no, we can't. That's not possible yet. This is a very strange thing. I think what they need to do is release all of the tape as soon as possible. I get they got an investigation to do. Stumblefoot, I think, asked, what's the prosecutor's next move? That's the big question. That's the big deal. Well, I say we probably won't get a response until next week. I don't think we're going to see anything major this week. I think he's going to be very methodical and thorough with it, and he's going to try to cross all of his T's and dot all of his I's. I still fully believe that this is a horrible tragedy. I hate this for the woman. I hate it for her children. Hate it for her husband, her extended family. I don't see charges coming out of this. Solar Linings. So do you think there were additional people in the house not mentioned in the dispatch call that was behind the door crying? No, I think probably what happened was what we know of at this moment is there was a husband and a wife. A husband and a wife. Could there have been a juvenile in there that wasn't mentioned? It's possible, but I'm going to tell you, and I apologize for getting on you, but the thing is, I think that you probably have something to offer, especially with what you've been through, but we just have to be very careful. You've got to let the shit fall where it falls and then find out what happens. We don't know. I don't know. There very well could be. I'm not going to say that until we know, because that would be harmful. I said yesterday, what's the possibility that the shooter was a juvenile? You know, maybe that was the case. I don't know. I don't think there's possibility to it. That's just a possible piece. It's okay. It's okay to speculate, as long as you say, I'm speculating, and you throw all this out there to talk about the ideas, but it's harmful to be like, I think this is happening, or this is what's happened. You know, to say it as a definitive is very, very scary. Yesterday, or the day we were talking about this, we talked about the fact that the bullet hole was higher and the head length, and I was talking to Brandon. And Brandon said, well, you know, how tall are you, Kate? 5'0". Kate's 5'0". Kate is 5'0". Okay. My brother is 6'5". So if my brother raised his hand up to where you would sight a gun,
it'd probably still be over my head.
I don't even know he could hit Kate in the head. It would be over Kate's head.
I think my husband, he's just under 6 foot. I think him, if he ever pointed his arm straight out with the weapon, it would be right at my head.
Yeah. Because maybe even his arm's not, but then the barrel, the bore axis is going to be up higher than where your hand is. Yeah. So that's a very good possibility. I'm asking because how else would somebody be? Let me pull this up, because this. I mean, I want to clear up any kind of confusion. How else would someone be behind the door crying and they would not be taking them into custody? Because the door's not open. The door's not open. The door was not open. I don't understand. I don't understand the difficulty in this. I'm gonna draw a picture. Okay. I'm gonna draw a picture. Wall, and here's the door. Here's the door. I'm gonna write door. And I'm gonna have a victim laying here. And I'm gonna have husband kneeling by the person, and I'm going to have two police officers. I'm going to have a police officer here and a police officer here looking at the door, and then I'm going to have a person back here at the door. I'm going to show you. Okay? So watch this. So this very crude drawing, you have the victim and the husband right here. And you have a police officer here and a police officer here. And here you have the house and the door. And then right over here behind the door, you have a person. The reason they wouldn't be taking them into custody is because the door's not open. The reason they're not busting the door down is because they're standing there looking at a person bleeding right there down with a gunshot wound to the head. They're looking at a door with a bullet hole in it. And they don't know, just because someone's talking to dispatch, they don't know who's on the other side of that door and what they're doing. So they're not just going to kick that door open and have some kind of crazy-ass gunfight. They're trying to say, okay, if dispatch is on the phone with the person inside the house, and the person inside the house is claiming that they're good guys, and, they were just afraid victims, then put the gun down and come outside. So they first tried to get him to come out the front door. They were hoping that he was going to do that. And the guy told dispatch, no, because I still see a person laying on the porch and I don't see any police out front. So then, and we haven't heard this. I don't know if it was the dispatcher's suggestion or the homeowner's suggestion, but one of them brought up the suggestion, we'll go out the back door. So then the dispatch tells the law enforcement officers, I'm trying to get him out the back door. He actually said, she says to the police, he said they'll go out the back door, take him into custody there. So she had already talked to them about that. And so then they were still not going out the back door. And then there's the confusion. And with two people in the house, one person could be upstairs and one person could be downstairs. And the very last little bit of dispatch that we heard there says that the wife was actually on the phone with dispatch too. So you got two people in the house and they're both on the phone with dispatch. We don't know where the people were. Maybe she was crying behind the door. Maybe he's upstairs, and maybe he's running from upstairs to downstairs to upstairs to downstairs like a freaked out maniac that just shot somebody and is afraid and is getting ready to go out and get arrested and doesn't know what's going on. It's total chaos at scenes like this. And this is not abnormal by any stretch of the imagination. This is not an abnormal situation. It's abnormal because of what happened. What's not abnormal is the chaos of what's happening. That's what's not abnormal. It's very common saying like, well, I don't know how somebody could be upstairs and also being downstairs, or, why weren't they? That's a fallacy to there's lots of ways that could be happening. And I'm not putting you down by saying that. That's just there's lots of ways that could happen. A good distance from the door, and that's a very good possibility too. Absolutely, 100%. The air mattress during cleaning, it deflated, unfortunately. After 2.5 years, we should have a funeral for the dormouse. The air mattress, it deflated. No. I'm not saying that there was. Listen, there's nobody that they didn't. Anybody inside the house got taken into custody. It's what you're saying literally makes no sense. Think about this. Well, if the homeowner was inside and upstairs, and if the police officer hears someone behind the door crying, are you telling me that you don't think it's possible, if there's two people in the house, for one person to be upstairs on the phone saying I'm upstairs, and for the other person to be downstairs crying? If you've got two people, so what we're talking about is a house where we have to have two people in two different positions, and we happen to have two people in the house. So is it possible that those two people could be in two positions in the house? We don't know the timeline of this phone call, okay? Keep it, because this has been edited. So that's the other thing you got to be careful with. Listen.
The suspect is scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you guys to take him into custody at the back door.
Have him walk out the back door and choose back.
From the time she says that thing about the back door and the time that the officer says the thing about the back door, that could have happened a minute apart from each other. And it's been edited. We don't know. All right, continue on.
Clear 7704, Mike 272, ladder 271, 770 gun is and having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom.
Okay, listen.
Josh, where's the homeowner?
Where's the homeowner?
He's on TX for dispatch for seeing where the gun is and having him come down. He's upstairs in the bedroom.
We're having him come downstairs. He's upstairs in the bedroom. Now, that time and this.
Hey, firm, we've got dispatch on the line with him. They're attempting to get him out now. Whitestown has information. The suspect is scared to open the door. He does not see officers. He's asking you guys to take him into custody at the back door.
Have him walk out the back door and choose backyard.
Clear 7704, Mike 272, ladder 271, 7704. Lawson's asking you to stay in the area. There was a mail shot. The subject is not in custody or detained at this time.
I am. I can still hear him crying by the front door. He's not moved.
We don't know what kind of time period any of this happened. It's also, I mean, this is not a mansion that they're in. It's very possible that you've got a guy who's scared to death, who's running from upstairs to downstairs and looking out the door. At one point, he looks and says, I don't see anybody. Then he runs to the back and he's looking out the back. I'm going to go out the back. Then he runs upstairs. I mean, that's very possible inside a house. All that I need to prove that is, I don't even know what goes on. I don't know where you live. I don't know how big your house is. But all I need you to do is stand up and move from one room into the next room and tell me how long that takes you. Like if you can move from your kitchen into your living room or your living room into the bedroom, into the bathroom, and if you can do that in a matter of seconds, then what I'm saying here is extremely possible. So that's all the more I can say on that. So the wife, husband inside, and the husband outside were on the phone with dispatch, but cops said person behind the door hadn't moved and was crying, just asking. Yeah, yep, that is exactly what's happening. Now, I don't know the times of when the wife was inside. Maybe the wife called at a different time. Maybe she called a couple times. Maybe they called her back. I don't know. But what I do know for a fact is the facts that I can give you, and this is the only thing I can give you, basically, is let me see here. The homeowner called at 6:49. They say 5 minutes into that call at 6:54, the homeowner fired a weapon. And then 3 minutes later, the Mercurio called at 6:57. So in less than, let's see. So in a total of seven minutes, a first call was made, a person shot somebody, and then another call was made. At least another call was made in 7 minutes. So yeah, that's all very possible. Very, very possible. Let's see here. No, it did not say they were both upstairs.
Dispatch, if you're on the phone with him still, tell him to come to the back door with his hands up outside, please.
I'm trying to get him to come to the back door. He is continuously talking about the person laying on the front porch and the officers having their guns pointed. He does not want to come out the back door.
Dispatch, where is he at in the house?
He's upstairs in the middle of the house in the loft.
Yeah, the male with a gunshot wound behind the white van. Yeah, gunshot.
He was in the loft. So time will tell. This will all be released, as a lot of it will be released, and we'll have a bigger picture. And look, here's the deal. I feel like the law will be applied. What happens, the law will be applied. If there's something here and the man gets charged, or the shooter, whoever the shooter is, gets charged, depending on what they say, I'll have to see. I mean, because people can be charged, it goes both ways. But I feel like unless there's something that they bring out, I still stand behind the fact that I don't think this person should be charged. All right, moving on. We just got a few more minutes. I do need to talk about this. This is very, very, very big. I should have talked about this last night. This is totally insane. And I just don't know what to do. We're not going to get into this. I'm just going to read this, and then we're going to talk about this more over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, and all of next year. And I just dread this. I'm not happy about this. This is horse shit. I'm completely outside of my mind about this. It's not good. All the crazy bad stuff we've talked about tonight, and this is just another one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, as was reported in the Star Press, at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. I don't even want to say it. It makes it real. Former Muncie Mayor Sharon McShurley launches campaign for Delaware County clerk. This is definitely truth. Well, it's not even that they scooped me. It's the fact that this woman is coming back into the fold. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just absolutely, absolutely horrible. Give me 1 second here. Oops. Okay. So, I hate this. It sucks. It's just totally crazy. We'll read it as it is. Former Muncie Mayor Sharon McShurley will be a candidate for Delaware County Clerk as a Republican in 2026. McShurley, Republican who served as mayor from 2008 through 2011, announced her candidacy on Tuesday, November 11th. The Delaware County Circuit Court Clerk's office is a vital hub for our local government, affecting everything from property records to the integrity of our elections, McShurley said in a release. Residents deserve an office that is not only managed with precision and integrity, but one that is also accessible and responsive to their needs. I am committed to meeting that expectation. McShurley said she hopes to continue the legacy of current clerk Rick Spangler by providing the level of service the public has come to expect. Also, a Republican, Spangler is prohibited under state law from seeking 3 consecutive terms as clerk. McShurley said she would seek to continue to utilize digital solutions to improve record keeping and provide clear, helpful guidance for all constituents interacting with the office. The former mayor also said she would ensure election integrity by working closely with election officials to maintain accurate voter registration records and ensure fair, transparent, secure elections for all Delaware County citizens. McShurley had served as Yorktown town clerk before her election as Muncie's first female mayor in 2007. She was unseated in re-election bid 4 years later by Democrat Dennis Tyler. She has also served on local boards and commissions. McShurley and her husband, Ron, live in Yorktown. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that crap. So, let me tell you this. McShurley is nutter, a complete whack job. When she got beat in the election between her and Dennis Tyler, they literally all throughout Republican Democrat headquarters sang "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead." This lady went into the mayor's office and picked a fight with the police department, picked a fight with the fire department, picked a fight with the prosecutor's office, picked a fight with the courts. She shut down the shit on the roads. Her biggest campaign supporters were Matt and Shireen Wegley, if that tells you anything. They considered Dan Ridenour the female McShurley. And yes, I said that right. No, they consider him the male McShurley. This lady, this thing was my very first political arch nemesis. She didn't this is the thing that people don't recall. No, she didn't shut down the drug task force. She just made it far worse and less effective and god awful, and to do her bidding. It was horrible. Before there was Dan Ridenour, before there was Russ, whatever that Russ idiot's name is, before there was John Sproles, before there was Sean Byram, J.D. Prescott, this is the woman that started this path for me. I was political, but I did so much battling with this woman for her entire 4 years as mayor, but I did it as a private citizen. I didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes I would argue on the Star Press online forums as Sir Robert Peel. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Sir Robert Peel was one of my finest achievements. I'm going to put it out here right now. We've got Republicans falling all over themselves. We've got Republicans falling all over themselves to say, "Oh, this is going to be wonderful. I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic. Wonderful." Well, let me tell you something. Those people are idiots. It's not going to be wonderful. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be out of this world horrible. It's going to be wild that we're going to have Ridenour in the mayor's office and McShurley in the clerk's office. She's going to win. No one's going to run against her. Maybe we're going to put a Democrat up, but the Democrat's not going to win. It's going to be god awful. And I'm going to be the very first to say it right here. She is only running because she needs 2 more years to be vested for perf. She did 4 years as the Yorktown clerk. She did 4 years as mayor of Muncie. She's got 8 years, but because of the positions, she wasn't in those positions that we were talking about with Catherine the other night. She needs 2 more years to get vested so she gets her pension. When she got beat, they live in Yorktown. They live in Yorktown, my ass. They moved to a lake cottage up in northern Indiana. Matter of fact, she just got in trouble for some kind of bullshit with her homestead deal. she's not been around. She's not been a voice or a focal she's not been a focal point in Republican politics in years. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks ago at the Lincoln Day dinner, she shows up and pops up. And I saw her creeping around, snaking around, doing all that weirdness at the Lincoln Day dinner. And I was like, why is she there? Why is she here? I didn't have a good feeling about it. And then this shit happened. Good Lord. Is it too early to still want Rick? Like, I would literally take Rick again. Yeah, that's exactly. She's just trying. She's going to get that. Now, she'll do the full 4 years and make some killer money. But and she thought we had a battle 4 years ago. Or not 4 years ago. How long was 2008? 8 to 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, God. 50, over 15 years ago. She thinks we had a battle over 15 years ago. Well, I've gotten stronger. All right, that's it. We're going to go. I'll keep you guys posted on all that other crap. My thoughts and prayers go out with the young deputy's family. Corporal Reynolds, just a horrible, horrible deal. This is crazy. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And yes, yes. Rachel, stick around. I'll call you when I get off here. If you're going to be around, if you're still up, and I'll give you a call as soon as I get off here. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all for playing and hanging out and hanging through it. Sorry, I was a little testy to some people, and other people bugger off. And that's that. All right, you guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening. And that'll do it. Goodbye.